before we get into what is perhaps a bit more of a serious video than some other ones that I do, I would like to address a very, very frequently asked question, probably from every video. Someone asks where this blanket is from that's draped on my bed. It's from Target, but it's like 3 years old. So I don't think that they make this exact like chevron print one anymore, but I'm sure that they have similar ones. I never really thought that it was like anything special, but you guys seem to really like it. Gosh, I don't even really know how to get into this video. I took a couple of weeks off from videos. I guess I haven't sat down to film a video, I think in 2 weeks. It feels slightly strange. I really needed some time away. Sometimes I go through these periods where for like a month or a month and a half, I'm really like not in a good place. I think that there are lots of contributing factors. I think that where I'm kind of at in my own personal growth and development from sort of a spiritual standpoint has an effect. I think astrology has a really big effect. So I just went through one of those periods. I was just like not in a good place personally, whatever. I don't need to get into the details of that. I've been feeling well for the last week, and a lot has sort of happened in February and March with respect to how I conceive of my YouTube channel and the content that I put out, the eco-beauty community at large, the beauty community at large, bloggers, social media. And there have been a couple pivotal things that have sort of prompted a very big shift, I guess. Now, let me also contextualize this by saying, obviously, in the grand scheme of things of life, I am talking about beauty products, and it's something fun, and it's a hobby for many of us, and a passion, and it's not meant to be at all equated to the very real struggles that people in this country and around the world face on a daily basis. I just feel I need to get that disclaimer out there because it's a very like first world issue. That being said, I also view beauty products, beauty rituals as a lens to a much more meta issue, which I'll get into as we move throughout the video. I'm really gonna try and stay focused and on track for this video, which is going to be a feat. I do have some notes. So returning to what I was saying, there were a couple key events and sort of new information that I started accumulating, and a lot of puzzle pieces just kind of clicked together, and I felt a very strong like resonance shift, I guess, for lack of a better word, with respect to the eco-beauty community. Now, I have been a part of the eco-beauty community for a long time. I started getting into it around 2010, 2011. I was pretty active on the message boards on No More Dirty Looks. I was shopping on Spirit Beauty Lounge, and it was just a totally different landscape then. It was very small, very niche. There were a handful of blogs, and it was just very manageable, I guess, in a sense, and exciting. And there was this curiosity, I guess, that permeated everyone that was interested in the community. Now, I started feeling a bit of a shift in the eco-beauty community as it has gotten more mainstream over the last really in the last year, but it's been happening for longer than that. The first time I remember feeling that twinge of like, oh no, was when Honest Beauty came out, when Honest Beauty makeup came out. And I remember I was like not really interested at all. I did end up trying a few of the products. A friend sent me some to try, was not really impressed. And there were kind of two competing narratives around that. So there were people that were sort of like, well, this is great. Like eco-beauty is going more mainstream. Maybe companies will start changing their broader production practices. More people will be getting access to clean beauty products at affordable prices for some brands. And yeah, I mean, I can see that. And then on the other hand, it has sort of lost a lot of that sort of special, niche, intimate, thoughtful, conscious quality, in my opinion. And I realize that the main criticism against that is that the desire to keep something kind of special and small and undiscovered and niche is sort of elitist, I guess. It's something that happens all the time though in creative spaces or artist spaces or like really anything, right? It's like there's a great little restaurant on the Lower East Side of New York, and then it gets discovered, and then it's like too popular. Or the same with like nightclubs or the underground music scene. That's another really big example where I feel like this has happened, where something small and intimate and special goes mainstream. So this is not like unique to the beauty space, but I had been feeling it happening for a while in eco beauty, and it made me kind of sad, I guess, because you want to keep something a particular way, which is also just not really that realistic because things grow and evolve and change and nothing is static. So I had been feeling a shift in the community for a while, but as you can tell if you've been watching my videos, I did just kind of fall into this routine of reviewing lots of really luxe brands. So the tipping point for me when things started to shift over the last couple of months very intensely to a point where I couldn't keep ignoring it was, and this is like not to single anybody out, and I'm not really gonna name brands, except the only one I'm gonna name is May Lindstrom increasing her prices, which created like a big sort of firestorm on Instagram, and people felt really personally offended. You know, I don't wanna dwell on that too much because brands can charge whatever they want for their products. There's obviously a rationale behind it and that sort of business model, the cost of ingredients, you know, whatever. And there are always going to be people that are going to pay that kind of money for those sorts of products. And as consumers, we can choose to either invest our money there or choose to spend it elsewhere. It's all sort of like a very personal cost benefit analysis. Around that same time, I connected more closely with Jess from Stark Skincare. I've been in touch with her for a while. We became in closer contact. She started making videos on YouTube and I really appreciated what she had to say. And I felt like she was someone that I felt connected to, that I haven't felt connected to in the eco beauty space for a long time, because she's very real and transparent and authentic and critical of a lot of what's been going on in eco beauty as it's kind of grown as an industry. And I would argue starting to get co-opted into the more conventional beauty space. Then from feeling very connected to Stark, I got very into Jordan Samuel skincare, and I've been updating you guys about these sorts of shifts of mine more on Instagram, but he also makes videos. He's a perspective that I feel very, very connected to. Less is more approach, and he's also a direct-to-consumer brand, as is Stark. They have reasonable prices but very high quality ingredients. Those perspectives in tandem with, it was very sort of, I guess, emblematic for me that it was May Lindstrom that was the brand that had this 15 to 30% price increase depending on where you were in the world, because she is one of the like OG eco luxury brands. I remember when I was first getting into eco beauty, the market was so small. Tata Harper was there, May Lindstrom was there, Kahina was there, Infiore has been there for a long time. I remember the attitude towards something like May Lindstrom was, it was very, very luxe and high-end, and maybe you would buy one or two of her products like in a whole year, and it would just be such a special thing. And I think what's happened is that quality valuation has changed as so many brands have tried to cram into the luxury, eco-luxury space, and it just doesn't feel the same. Now I need to refer to my notes because I feel like I'm starting to go on a bit of a tangent. So here I am, the last month or month and a half, watching Jess from Stark, Jordan from Jordan Samuel, so people like Liz Alaska Beauty on Instagram, who I really like. I just started watching Tofcam, who does really intelligent reviews of beauty products, but it's from a perspective of like tons of products, and he reviews them like so eloquently, and he's clearly very knowledgeable, but he's definitely a more is more kind of person, which is a different perspective. You know, he's in his, I think, early 20s, and he's doing lots of exfoliation and retinols, and it's just I'm gonna bracket my own personal skincare philosophy for another video because I think it's gonna be too much to try and cram into this video. What I sort of coupling all of these things together, it made me return to some of my, and I'm sorry, this might get kind of academic, but I did a lot of theoretical thinking when I was in graduate school. For anyone that's new and coming to my videos for the first time, I have a PhD in sociology. My dissertation was on the alternative food movement in Rhode Island, and I was interviewing lots of people, and I was a participant observer in all of these different institutional spaces that were making up the alternative food movement. But what I was really interested in is how health seeking is sort of a constant project, and how the body itself is a constant project that has become increasingly exacerbated under neoliberal mentalities. just a brief crash course in neoliberalism. It's sort of a political economic project, really started under Reagan in the 1980s, and it's basically just created widening polarities between the haves and the have-nots, heightened inequality. It's kind of like the complete abolition of the welfare state or social welfare programs, and it's a very individual-centric logic that encourages people to govern themselves. And it really has like a very strong political and economic logic inherent in it. So you can see the rise of something like the wellness industry or the diet industry, the beauty industry. These all couple together to get you to buy things constantly, and to make you feel like you're constantly striving and working things out. And the body has just become a site where you're never done sort of trying to fulfill that imperative. I guess what has happened to me over the last couple of months is that I just started to see things in a different light. I think Kimberly Clark and her very socially conscious beauty channel here on YouTube also was very pivotal for me in sort of returning me to a lot of my roots, I guess, of being a little bit more critical and conscious of what's going on in the beauty industry. Now, I need to say that I love beauty products. I love the whole ritual. I love every ritual around beauty products. I have since I was a kid. My skincare routine, I look forward to. It's like one of the highlights of my day. It's a moment that I feel very in touch, I guess, with my body and rooted in my body. And this is something else that has really strongly been coming up for me in the last couple of months, is being more in my body. And not really, I guess, I've also started to develop this aversion to self-care and self-love as terms. Like, they're starting to sound annoying to me. That's probably also another topic for another video. It's a bit too intentional. It's a bit too striving. I think for me, what's been resonating more is just it's really very simple. It's just being in the moment, right? It's sort of a very Eckhart Tolle sort of be in the now, but it's so simple yet also very abstract. And so for me, beauty rituals and skincare rituals are a way to feel myself in my body. I am a person that has a tendency, just because of my, I don't know, probably my karma, but also my astrological chart is so air sign heavy. All of my main placements are in air signs. So the tendency for me to not be in my body is so strong. And it's something I've really only kind of started recently becoming more aware of. I have started moving away from sort of these, I feel like I'm starting to get flushed because I'm getting like so heated talking about this stuff, but I've been moving more away from like self-care, self-love, and towards thinking about skincare rituals and my makeup routine as an aesthetic, energetic practice. And it's also been moving me away from identifying myself with like the green beauty label or the eco luxe label, which I had been. So I don't know if anybody noticed, probably not, but for a long time, little description on my Instagram bio used to say eco luxe beauty, and I changed it. Now it says beauty rituals as energy work. So it's really part of this whole shift that I personally feel that I'm going in. What I notice when I look at the green beauty community now, and it's through other bloggers, social media, I'm part of a Facebook group. What I feel when I go to these spaces, for the most part, now there are exceptions, like I said, there's people I really like. What I notice more from a sort of user engagement standpoint, and what I also have experienced being on YouTube and having a channel and having people comment and interacting with people, is there has been such a myopic focus on sort of this topical approach to beauty, I guess. And that's not to say that I'm like, oh, beauty like comes from the inside and you can't care about what you look like. It's not that. But my opinion is that a topical skincare routine or beauty routine is not sort of the root answer to whatever you're dealing with or dissatisfied with your appearance or, what have you. I think that internal health and balance is so, I mean, it's just so important. Also, your genetics do play a big role, but it's very epigenetic, and we can sort of alter and manipulate those things through, you know, good healthcare, good diet, lifestyle things. But I don't mean the lifestyle things from sort of a mainstream approach, because I think that there are so many issues with the mainstream approach to seeking health. I think that our food supply is, the sort of mainstream food supply is completely toxic, laden with GMOs, you know, food that's grown in soil that's of extremely poor quality. Our water is very contaminated with pharmaceuticals and fluoride. People are taking all manner of, you know, medications, synthetic hormones. All of these things play such a key role in how you look and how you appear to others. And so when I see the kind of myopic obsession with beauty products and beauty routines and skincare routines, I feel that people are not paying attention to the bigger issues that underlie all that. And I feel so strongly that people are literally just giving their personal power away to people on social media, to companies, to the beauty and wellness industry. And there's so much noise out there now. I've been thinking about this, that when I sat down to film this video, I wanted to just demonstrate how I feel when I go into social media with all of the noise and constant advertising. It's like I just want to go like that. Like, it's so overwhelming to me. It's either that it's reached new proportions, or I've just become very sensitive to it, and it makes me want to retreat and shut down, because I also feel that it's just so unnecessary, I guess. When I say that I think people are myopically focused, what I mean is that I think people fixate on, you know, a $150 or $200 serum. Not that they probably think it's going to change their life, but that it's going to solve problems deeper than they may even be aware of that they're projecting onto this product. That really didn't make any sense. But I think people are just misplacing a lot of hopes and desires on very expensive beauty products and beauty routines. And I just started to feel this overwhelming sense that we're focusing on the wrong thing, or it's from the wrong angle. Not for everybody. And again, this is all just like my sort of personal experience and opinion. It's what I guess I feel like I've seen happening is eco-beauty has just lost that kind of, subversive is much too strong of a word, but it used to be more oppositional, more grassroots. Just it had a very different energy than the conventional beauty industry had. More thoughtful, more conscious. And I don't feel a lot of that anymore from the eco-beauty industry. It feels like it's sort of getting very co-opted into the conventional beauty industry. And I don't like it. Like, you know, unless I feel connected to a particular perspective or energy that someone is putting out in the world, Stark, Jordan Samuel, Beauty Heroes. With Beauty Heroes, her whole philosophy is on exactly this, a conscious approach to beauty so that you don't have to buy as much. And, you know, I really, as someone that, you know, does make YouTube videos, I have recommended lots of products, you know, and I've gotten a lot of feedback that people generally have good success with the things that I recommend, and I really pride myself on being extremely honest and transparent. And I'm also quite selective about, I've already been selective about brands that I work with and talk about and show, and it's going to just basically be like even more so. I'm just like, I don't even want any more products, or I want to return to my own meandering ways to finding products. And I realize that, you know, if you're not a blogger and you don't deal with like a lot of the inputs and noise, it probably sounds annoying, because I do get sent a fair amount of products and it's amazing. You know, I have discovered a lot of things that I wouldn't have discovered otherwise. I'm so appreciative. I mean, I think we do also have to keep in mind that bloggers are like an ideal marketing mechanism for brands. You know, like they don't, I mean, some bloggers do get paid to promote products. I've never done a sponsored post, but it's so cost effective for them to just send you products as opposed to take out real advertising, which is extremely expensive. So I just feel like so many factors have started coalescing. I just don't like the direction that the eco-beauty community has gone. I feel like there's a lot of sanctimonious fear-mongering, a lot of perfectionism, a lot of fear, a lot of myopic focus on things that really don't matter. I mean, I do obviously believe that our products should be as cleanly formulated as possible, but do I really think that using a MAC or a NARS lipstick when you go out on a Friday is gonna do you in? No. Like, people lose perspective. I get comments on my videos that are like, I wish you were more purist, and I'm just like, what? Clearly, like, there's another issue going on if you're going to so myopically focus on the ingredients in every product you use. I highly, highly, highly recommend watching Jess from Stark and her husband, who, man, I'm blanking on his discipline. It's either physics or biomedical engineering or something. It's a conversation between the two of them, and I really appreciated kind of the research, academic, scientific points he brought up, which is that when a lot of these ingredients that people are so freaked out about are being tested for toxicity, or like anything, right? We can think of all of the conflicting nutrition studies that you see come out in the news, coffee, wine, all of these things. One study will say it has a beneficial effect, another study will say it doesn't. And there are really important reasons for why you can't rely on what really exclusively what science says, what academics say, especially not what like bloggers say or people in social media. Basically, I think the meta narrative for me is that people really just want to give their own power away. I mean, the whole point is that we should be developing the skills to become much more in tune with our own internal guidance system and taking everything as information and making a decision that's not based in fear or so much complication or so much just tedious energy. So when I go on the Facebook group I'm talking about, it's just not good energy to me. It feels very tedious. Now, this could also just be where I am at in my own process, and I realize that maybe some people really like those sorts of communities. So just to wrap up with the video that Jess and her husband did, they just, I think, really articulate that the reason there's no kind of cut and dry answers with these things is that the effects that are found in these studies are so small that they're really, I don't want to say insignificant, but they're just, in the grand scheme of things, they're not going to make or break your life. So it just got me really like fired up into this level that I had never been before, when I'm like, people are freaking the F out about phenoxyethanol, when if people devoted that much focus to everybody having like high quality healthcare from in utero through their whole lives, that would do way more good than this, again, myopic focus on products and ingredients. So for me, there's a very strong sort of policy or political implication here too, which is that we settle for just really like a subpar social structure in terms of healthcare, in terms of our food supply, in terms of our water supply, our natural resources. These things make such a much bigger difference in your life and everybody's life than the lipstick that you wear. It just started to like really anger me, I guess, on this whole new level. And I think it's also part and parcel of, our current political climate in the United States and increasingly around the world. And I will continue to be vocally opposed to this populist autocratic approach to politics. I don't care if you don't want to watch me or you want to thumbs down my video, like, go for it. I'm gonna keep talking about it because I think it's very, very important. So, and there is also a place for individual health seeking, but I just don't think it's through the consumption, unconscious consumption, I guess I would say, of beauty products. So for me, the way that I have found to get back in touch with my personal power is through the work that I've done with my medical intuitive. I haven't really talked about it in a while. I do still want to do an update video because it's one of the most profound things I've ever done for my life and my growth as a person. If you're not into working with a medical intuitive, if that's not your thing, I think any approach that you feel will help balance your system internally, so that could be functional medicine and nutritional balancing, that's going to help regenerate your physical body so that it can carry a higher vibration, is going to naturally make you a more conscious person and a more conscious consumer. I feel like the reclaiming of your personal power in that sense will just naturally guide you towards situations and products, select products and routines and everything that's going to advance you forward in life, and not get so bogged down, I feel, in just the constant noise. You know, where does this leave me? I'm certainly not going to stop making videos. L'amour et la musique has been one of the most rewarding, important pursuits of my life. It's been a way for me to explore a true passion that I have for aesthetics and beauty and self-knowingness, I guess, self-realization. But I don't want to be like a typical blogger that's just, not to disparage that either, because I watch a lot of bloggers who review lines and products and I appreciate the information. I think for me, it just started to feel too overwhelming to put the pressure on myself to review like the latest and greatest in green beauty. I just want to make space here to do things that I've been wanting to do for a while, like talk about my crystal collection, do a DJ demo video, do my bullet journal video. I developed a new tag. I called it the esoteric tag, and it's all these esoteric questions. It's like, I want to be able to do that kind of content that's about beauty, but it's about more than beauty. It's about beauty and energy and intentionality and discernment. You're seeing me very much in progress. I do not have this all figured out. I just know that something shifted so starkly for me that I couldn't keep ignoring it, and it had been brewing for a while. And I think I had been trying to ignore and be like, yes, like let me try like tons and tons of new products, and yes, I'll get to that, I'll review that, I'll do that. And it's just started to feel like, no, like I need to regroup and articulate these things, get them off my chest. I know that they'll probably offend some people. It's not my intention to offend anybody. The wonderful thing actually about the internet and everybody having an opinion is that it's okay for there to be a plurality of approaches. It's okay for people to disagree with each other. There are people that I like and I disagree with parts of what they say, but I still like them. It doesn't make me not like them or want to hear what they have to say. And just like one other quick thing before I stop recording is there's like this low grade like construction humming sound outside that's really bothering me. I don't know if you can hear it. People can be so rude on social media, and I think that was part of why I was going through this regroup hibernation. Not even that I was like getting hate per se, because I really like wasn't. It's more that people just started to feel very demanding, and I kind of wanted to just be like, I'm like providing free content for people who enjoy it, and so don't come to me and be like, do a video on this, why didn't you do this, why isn't there this? Like, just because people think that they live life in 140 characters or less now, like, who raised you? Like, where are your manners? I don't know, that's like a topic for another day. Social media has its perils and it has its, benefits as well. But anyway, I don't really know how to wrap up this video now. I really hope that it made some sense. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments on all of this. It's certainly not like a closed issue, like I'm saying. It's very much an issue that's in process for me. But I guess I just wanted to open up the conversation and let you know how I've been feeling and hear what you have to say, so that we can have a really real, honest conversation about the eco-beauty community, the fear and perfectionism that I feel is really like driving a lot of people that are into it now. And I would just like to chart a new course for myself personally and for what I provide on here. So the next video I have is a Mercedes shops, which is kind of funny given that I just sat here and sort of lambasted capitalism and consumption. But I've had these products sitting here for probably 3 weeks, and I couldn't bring myself to film the video until I got all of this off of my chest, I guess. So if this video was not your thing, I don't really know what to tell you. I guess maybe I'm not the girl for you on YouTube. There are plenty of other just straight review channels, and there's something out there for everybody, and I'm not offended if I am not your cup of tea. Thank you so much for watching. For my viewers that have been loyal and with me for a while, it means so much to me. I'm so appreciative, and I will just see you guys in my next one soon. Bye.